Hi guys, welcome back. It's Cynthia Hilston at cynthiahilston.com, and thank you so much for joining me. This vlog is part of a series that I have been making on the whole writing process for busy mamas like you and me. So I hope that you have found a few minutes of quiet time in your crazy, hectic daily life, and thank you for spending it with me. So let's get right down to it. Today's video shouldn't be too long. It is social media and website. So before I get into it though, I would like to remind you that if you find these videos helpful, you can find the rest of them on my YouTube profile. If you have not yet checked them out, please do so and hit subscribe, and there will be a new video posted every Monday, so I hope you're here to join me on this fun journey. So let's get back to it here. Social media and website. So if you're a new writer, you probably haven't thought maybe this far ahead yet, and I totally get it. When I started this process, I was not thinking about social media and my own website and all this stuff. I was basically just thinking about writing the actual book. While I was working on the first manuscript, I was just wondering if I was actually going to be able to finish this manuscript. So you might be at the point in your journey where maybe you haven't even started writing it yet. I hope you have. I hope that you have at least started it, because I'm definitely trying to encourage you to do that. There are videos about that. If you want to check them out on my channel, please do so. But it's never too early to get your social media profiles set up for you as an author and a writer, and also a website. So why do you need social media? Why do you need an author website? You're going to be taken seriously as an author, as a writer. You do need to do these things. I'm not saying you need to invest like tons and tons of time in them, especially if it's like still early for you, where you're still even writing that first manuscript, and you could say, I don't even have anything out yet. I don't even have anything published. Why would I do that? It's never too early to get your name out there. If you wait until you put that book up on Amazon and then you try to get your name out there, well, think about it. If you started 6 months or a year before you publish your book and you already have some followers on social media who are waiting for the release of your book, you already have some followers. You have more people who know about it before it's released, versus if you don't do anything and then you put that book up there and then you're trying to get people. Well, think about, you could have been getting those people earlier. So that's why I'm encouraging you to do this now. There's something called author branding. You want to brand your author name. Now, whether it's your real name or it's a pen name, it doesn't matter. But you want to focus on branding your name as an author, not just a single book. I made the mistake with my first book of creating a Facebook page just for that book. I made this Facebook page and it was just for the book. It was not for me as an author. And then I realized, wait a minute, I need an author Facebook page, because once I realized I was going to write other books, I thought, well, I am not going to go on this Facebook page for this book, that's just this one book, and start advertising my other books. I mean, I can, but people who are following it might be kind of confused. So I realized at that point I needed to create a Cynthia Hilston, public page, author page on Facebook. So I did. I now have both of them, which is fine. It's funny because I have a lot more people following me on the one about my book than I do about my author page. And partly that is because I had spent money to advertise it with Facebook ads, and so that's how I got a lot of likes. But I will get into advertising and marketing in another video. Let's get back to social media and website. So you need to brand your name as an author to get it out there so people know about you. I've been talking some about social media and Facebook. What about a website? This doesn't have to be hard. You do not have to know HTML to make your own website. I really suggest WordPress. WordPress.com. I think everybody has heard of it. I think most of the people who I know who are bloggers and authors have their website hosted on WordPress. It is very easy to use. It might be a little confusing at first, but it is there are, templates for, setups for your website. There are lots of free templates you can use that are pretty nice looking, that are professional looking, that you can use to set up your website. I suggest that you pay the small fee, and it's not much, it's an annual fee, so you can get a domain name. Mine is CynthiaHilston.com. You can use your name. That's probably like the best bet, but if your name is Joe Smith and there's a million Joe Smiths, then you might have to get a little more creative. Sometimes people say author Joe Smith or Joe Smith author. I'm sure you can come up with something if your name is very common, but I really suggest that you do pay that small fee. I think for me it was like $30 or $35 a year, which is not bad at all, to have that CynthiaHilston.com or whatever your name is .com, because that looks professional versus mine used to be cindy11.wordpress.com or something like that, wordpress.com/Cindy11, something like that. It was, if you put in my old URL, it will redirect it to CynthiaHilston.com. It's still the same site, but I would definitely recommend you do have a domain name. I definitely think that the more professional you can make it appear, that is to your advantage. So I'm going to recommend WordPress. I am not going to get into all the details of how to use WordPress. There are lots of people who put up videos about that, so I'm just going to say, hey, come on YouTube, do a search if you're really confused about something. I know that WordPress has a help menu, and if you can't find it there, then you can Google it or go on YouTube and find tutorials of how to use WordPress. But that is rather beyond the scope of what I am going to be doing here. So there's the website, and then there is social media. I would like to state that with Facebook, most people do use Facebook, but your Facebook public page is different from your private profile page, okay? I have a private profile page with my friends and my family that only people who I'm friends with can view things I put on there. It's different from my public author page. So your author page is a separate thing from your private page, okay? And if you're going to be posting a lot of stuff about your writing, which it is important to have an active presence on social media, and do it at a regular, maybe at least at the very minimum once a week, post something. Post an update on your writing. Post a quote from something that you wrote, or post, hey, my release of my new book is this, and you could even put a link to Amazon if you have it available for pre-order. You can also just put up inspirational quotes. You can put up quotes about writing. You can put up links to articles on writing. There's lots of things you can do. It doesn't have to necessarily, it shouldn't all be about buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. You don't want to really hit people over the head with it, but you definitely want to make sure you have a regular presence. And so I suggest at least once a week, but that's at the bare minimum. Now I use Twitter, and I use Instagram, and I use Facebook primarily. I have Pinterest, and I do have LinkedIn, but I personally have not found for me that it works. Some people are really up on the Pinterest thing, and I have heard some people say, well, if you're writing nonfiction, or you're writing like a book that's going to be read by professionals or college professors, that kind of thing, that LinkedIn would be a better place because that's a more professional platform than Facebook. If you are doing something that Instagram is great because you can put quotes up there, with a pretty background. You can take a picture of your book, and hold it up there. Instagram's great because visuals are a wonderful way of helping to promote yourself. So you can have multiple social media handles, and I would recommend that you pick like 2 or 3. You don't need to do all of them, but some of this is going to depend on your audience for your books. If your audience is younger, you might find that something like Snapchat, I've heard, because it's younger audience, teenagers and stuff, is going to work better. So part of it is you have to think about your audience and what social media they're most likely to be using. And so that might be the social media channel that you're going to be going toward. But, don't try to do all of them. You don't need to do like 10 social media things and overwhelm yourself and feel like you need to be constantly posting on all of them because you will burn out. Trust me. So I mentioned that you want to have a regular presence on social media. At the very least once a week. Every other day is what I like to do, or sometimes like once a day. But you should engage with your audience too. If you start getting people following your page, the nice thing like with Facebook is you can make this page and you can invite your friends and family to follow you. And you can ask them to share the page with their friends and family and encourage people to follow you. And there are some Facebook groups where, maybe not all the time, but occasionally they'll say, hey, if you want to share your social media link, don't just go on there and share your social media link on other Facebook groups, because most of them frown upon that. But if they say it's okay, that's also a way you could get followers. The better thing to do is to join Facebook groups about writing and with other writers and make connections. Build friendships, build trust. This is how I've met other online writers. And, say, hey, if you want to, read something I wrote and I'll do it for you, or we review each other's books, do a review exchange. This is how you build trust and friendship. You build connections. You engage with people. And then you can private message each other, or you can actually Facebook friend each other and make that connection, and then you can invite them to follow your author page. So you want to be genuine and you want to show a human presence. You want to humanize yourself, because it's not about, follow me, like my post, buy my book. You want, people are only going to be interested in what you have to offer if they see the person behind it. So that's what I really also encourage, is that you interact with people. If you post something and somebody, makes a comment, or, somebody likes it and they don't follow your page, invite them to like it. But, I'm going to link this below. It's called buffer.com. This is something I have found very helpful with scheduling social media posts, because I am all for saving time. And like I said, I use primarily Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. One of the things I do, and this is something that with WordPress that's nice, is that when you post like a new blog post on there, or a new page, if you link your social media to your website, it will automatically post across your social media. You can also use buffer.com as something, and it's free for the basic version, and you can basically sign up. It's really easy, and then you can link your different social media accounts to it, and you can schedule up to 10 posts. You can schedule them, and you can put the date and the time that you wanted to post, up to 10 of them, and so that way it's all set up, and it will post it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like simultaneously, like, 7 a.m. on Tuesday, 7 a.m. on Thursday, 7 a.m. on Saturday, or whatever, you can pick your schedule, and you can always change it. But this is a great way to, like I said, you can share links to things, you can share inspirational quotes, funny pictures, just, all kinds of stuff. And this way it makes it easier for you and it saves you time. Buffer also has something, I also put the link below to this, pablo.buffer.com, which when I said having like a nice picture or nice background to go with your quote, there are thousands of stock images and they're all free. You can search for something, like let's say you want to search rainbow, because your quote's about a rainbow or something you wrote. It could be a quote from something you wrote. And you find all these then pictures of rainbows, and you could pick one, and then you can put like the quote on that picture. You can download it to your computer, or you have the option right there of sharing it directly to Buffer. And then you can schedule it on Buffer, and then it will share it to your social media, which I just think is really cool, because a lot of times a quote looks so much nicer when it's got like a picture with it or a nice background versus just putting up, words. So these are just a few things that I have found helpful over the years that work for me. And the last thing I want to put out there, and this is something I do, of course, is blogging on your site to help get your name out there. You can put certainly about me on your website. You can put information about your books on there. But if there's something you're passionate about, and you can decide to blog once a week, you can decide to blog once a month. For me, I have like a certain schedule on my website where I post like a poem every Tuesday. I just suggest that you try blogging, because it is also something that is great to get your name out there as an author. So I hope you have found this useful. Please subscribe and hit the bell beside it to get notified when I post a new video on Monday. All the links to my social media are below. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will answer them. Thanks, guys. Bye. A little bit of self-promotion, shameless plug, whatever you want to call it. I just want to share with you that I have 3 books out on Amazon. I'm going to hold up the paperbacks so you can see what they look like. First book, Hannah's Rainbow. This is my first book that is loosely based on my late grandma's life. Second book, Lorna versus Laura. This is a suspense romance. And third book, Laughing Matter of Pain, which is a spin-off of Hannah's Rainbow about her brother, Harry. Those are available in paperback as well as Kindle on Amazon.com. And if you are interested in knowing more about the process of writing a book for a busy mama like yourself, don't forget to check out my helpful guide called 30 Minutes a Day, Busy Mamas, is all it takes to write that book.